Hey, 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 we are Ketu Born. I'm a Tangi Jacob. No, more seriously. Good mood, good weather, and we're trying to figure out how to analyze the competitor profile. So, what does it mean? Well, I'm going to give you some tips to proceed. We're going to go through example and a wrap up. Okay. And any doubt remaining, well, you contact us through our tutorial. Okay, great. Let's go on. So first, when what can be said when we're considering the competitor profile? It's to consider competitor moves and to understand, A, what drives them towards one point or another. Do they care much more about market share or profit? Or do they care more on growth or on dividends, on technology leadership or cost leadership, non-economic aim versus economic aims? So here, you will see that you've got different profile. For instance, if we contrast GM and Toyota in the automotive industry, well, GM used to be for a while much more in terms of profit, and Toyota much more on market share. You know who's the winner? No doubt to say it. Most of the time, when a company has some difficulties, they give higher dividends. So watch out. Watch out towards dividend. This is not a good indicator. And much more positive to think in terms of growth. Again, technology leadership is great, but it's far more risky to maintain it. I'm sure that you've been struck or amazed by the history of some of your friends that were working in startups or that went up. Well, it's a fantastic story, valuation of the companies that go to several hundred millions, and suddenly, boom, news and pow, down. And this is the point. So technology leadership is okay. We always speak about Apple, Samsung, and Google, but for these three, how many have gone to bankruptcy? This is the point. Meanwhile, cost leadership, okay, it's low profile, it's not so sexy, but on the other hand, you keep it, and this is the reason why Toyota went to cost leadership. And when we're talking about automotive industry, security is a major driver. Okay, and then you've got the last one. Well, it seems that it seems obvious that you should go for economic aims. Watch out! Watch out! If we look at the recent players in any field, you'll see that most of them had non-economic aims at the beginning. It was to protect themselves. It was just to do some things that they wanted to go for. Think about Hotmail. Some student thinks about Linux, thinks about Skype, thinks about Google. And you will see that most of the time, the major disruption that is going to happen in your sector will come from a non-economic aim. And your competitor, it will be free or it will be something that will be out of the box. They won't be able to answer. This is the reason why non-economic aim is the most important one. Okay, so at this point, what will you supposed to do? Well, you will have to diagnose the target and hypothesis of your competitors. So, so for instance, we will answer with trying to diagnose why did Facebook acquire Instagram and WhatsApp. Okay. So here, what can we say? Well, you got a management profile. What does it mean? Well, it's interesting to consider it because you can see overall if they are new in the company, why they join it, what attracted the rest of the board to focus. Hey, we need those guys. In terms of lack of competencies, what does it imply? In terms of new product, what does it mean? Then organization structure. Watch out, this is really important. A good chart doesn't reflect the power of the organization. Really important. Because if you are too much transparent, basically it would be really easy to steal you, the best guy in your own organization, and as well to find out possible debilities, weaknesses that it has. And by your position, you see that all the companies have got special advisors. Normally, nobody knows them. They do not appear in the chart, but there's the key guys. There's the shadow people. They make great result, and they manage to do, thanks to their network, some things that nobody managed to do otherwise. You need to know their past, where are they going, and really important. Have they joined previous structure before or not? What does it imply? Recent result? Well, this is basic, so I'm not going to insist on it. History. History is important because it puts some constraint on what will the company do in the future. We're going to see in one of our many anytime video fight between two cosmetics company, L'Oreal, the incumbent, and Natura, the new the underdog in Brazil, and basically because Natura was pushing so hard that L'Oreal did some things they'd never done before, except in India. Targeting directly competitors, customers, right, in Brazil. That never happened before. Wow, what does it mean? This is surprising because in 99% of the cases, from the company has been doing, you can know if it prioritized internal growth, external growth with acquisition, and so on and so on. So here, this is the reason why matrix strategy is interesting, and as well positioning the matrix portfolio. But keep it in mind that some mistakes can be done. Okay, so really important. Here, what you can see at Facebook is that you've got lots of people that are, for instance, Instagram about the picture. Instagram has decreased value because you've got less people putting their photos there because they're afraid about the policy of privacy of Facebook. And here you can see that the morality of the CEO is at stake. And in the case of WhatsApp, it's growing so much, and it's relying on RFC and so on, that Facebook has the opportunity to make a new type of networks that take into consideration pictures, small messages, and what should happen really soon is some new media. The point is, how are they going to go for it? And if you're able to diagnose what they're going to go for at Facebook, well, you may make a substantial benefit because they will make the acquisition for some companies and they are eager to pay whatever the price may be just to enter into it. Okay, so this is another issue. If we move again, just to consider another element within the competitor profile, is are they conservative aggressive, risk taker with adverse, operational visionaire, analytical emotional, profit or growth driven. Here, for instance, if we contrast, because it's quite funny to say, hey, Jobs and Cooks at Apple, are they the same or are they different? Well, you will see that for some issues they are similar, and for them stuff they're quite different. Conservative or aggressive? Jobs, aggressive. Cook, aggressive as well, but about launching of product, more conservative. Risk taker with adverse. Again, Jobs, more risk takers than Cook. But here it's interesting. Who's the most visionary? Jobs. And where does it come from? Cook. Well, it comes from operational. He was CEO before. So operational, you can see it's research, and you can see that What is it? Well, Job was completely emotional, and Cook is much more analytical. This is the reason why there are lots of complementarity among these two guys, and you can see that the analytical is much more profit driven, and this is the reason why you got more than 40 billion profit. Meanwhile, at Jobs was just trying to find out some new device that will be able to grow and creating new generation of product. Okay, so it's really a fascinating story when you can guess out what is the profile of your competitors, what's the family, where it come from, what's going to happen, and even for SMEs, because you will learn a lot. And it's quite interesting to see that many companies don't pay attention to these factors. Okay, so please do it. Above all, when you got convergence of technology, because it can be even more drastic if you see impact of non-forecast movement, and because the disruption happens always faster. And when you arrive at operational words, it's too late. And last, I insisted a lot on it, but in case of you forget it, so because there are many insights, think about non-economic aims. You can generate disruption. Your competitors can generate disruption with this. So pay attention to it, and I'm sure that if you apply this advice, you will have a good payback. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.